My name is Trisha L. Andrew. I'm an assistant professor of chemistry and materials engineering. So I learned about Angstrom as a graduate student at MIT, and I was working with Mark Baldo, who has your systems, and he's another early adopter, I would say. And so I used his systems when we were working on trying to make organic solar concentrators together. And then I started using your systems again when I was a postdoc with Vladimir Bulovich, and so just my training at MIT is when I was first exposed to it, and I just absolutely loved the user interface. It was very easy, very intuitive to use. It was very simple. When something broke down, it was very easy to just break it apart and fix it. It wasn't something that was so convoluted that we'd need to get a service manager out or something all the time and you'd delay work. You could basically, everything was just put together so efficiently and easily that you could just kind of fix things. But they never broke down at that too, so it was a clear choice that I would get an Angstrom deposition system when I started my own lab. The sophisticated digital control that all of the Angstrom systems have, not just the thermal deposition but also the sputter systems. Basically, you could have a program, you could set up your own program very easily without needing to know coding or have a LabVIEW interface or something like that. You could program it easily and then set it and walk away, and that's really important if you want to have high throughput like device output or just data output. But the other thing is the systems are so reliable that you can set it, walk away, and believe that your experiment is happening as you want it to when you walk away, as opposed to just being lazy and not needing to like babysit it. So it's really fantastic, and our systems run, I would say, at least 4 of my students use it 10 hours every day, and they're not in the lab all the time looking at the deposition because you, again, like I said, you could set it and walk away, do other stuff, and then trust that it's depositing as you expect it to. And then because of the sophisticated digital control, you could have multiple layers that are being deposited, multiple materials across organics or metals. You could have multiple thicknesses, or you could have co-depositions, and all of this again is like beautifully controlled. And then the quality of the parts are so good that you don't really need to worry about checking on it. You can trust that it's happening as you want it to. And we run it, like I said, 10 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Had it for about 3.5 years now, and one pump needed to be changed because we forgot to change the oil. So it's been amazing so far. So the longevity is great. We actually even buy our supplies and low-level targets from you guys as middlemen, as opposed to buying them from the major supplier, because Angstrom makes some tiny changes to things that makes our lives easier and just prevents, again, like shorting and things like that. Tiny changes like snipping a wire so that it doesn't make contact. Erroneous contact is something you don't want it to make contact with. Effectively prolongs the life of your targets, or your sputter heads, or your sources and things like that. And it's just easier, and the markup is so minuscule in terms of scientific cost that it's just definitely worth the experience to just use you as middlemen, even for small things like boats and things like that. So my experience with the service department was largely when we bought the system, and having the service engineer who came out to install everything and just build a lab effectively was just amazing. He was just so hardworking and put in so much overtime to deal with just like on-site problems with our utilities, with our building manager, with just, we didn't have outlets at the time, which is crazy to think about now, but we didn't have an outlet to plug in the deposition system to, and he was helping like our physical plant guy like set that up. And then he stayed an extra day to even train my students. That was not in his plan because he thought he'd be out of here in 4 days, but because of these delays, he had to stay an extra day to train the students, and it was amazing. It was just like really, he built my lab. It was like the final 10% that he helped build. So I don't think he assumed he was going to do that when he showed up here, so it was great. It's an easy choice. Just go with Angstrom. They have quality equipment, they have good people, and then they have really great follow-through, so it's not like they sell you the thing and then forget about you. So it's just a solid, good product and good company to work with all the time.